Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, and today is Thursday, September the 19th, 2024, and this is Flosstube number 90. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a channel where I talk about all the cross stitch and all the plans. And if you're returning to my channel, welcome back. Thanks so much for watching and following along with all the craziness. Real quick before we get started, I'd like to give a happy belated birthday to Alara. Her birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday. Okay, that's it. So before I show you my board and all of my whips, you guys saw my hair's a mess today. It's whatever. You guys, some of you guys watched my Monopoly. I added to my plans my Monopoly game. I'm also doing my temperature stitching and then my weekly pulls. So I had a lot of stitching to do this week. It was a lot, like over 5,000 stitches I had to do. So what I did do, I did pretty good. I got all my Monopoly stitching done. I worked on every whip that I pulled for the week and my focus pieces, and I got almost all the temperature stitching done. Almost. So close. So close. I was sad. And you know what? If I didn't have my stuff from the week before that I had to catch up on, I would have had it all. So I think what I'm going to do this week regarding the temperature stitching is I'm going to only do the highs. I'll explain the temperature stitching later for those who don't know about it. I'm only going to do the high temperatures this upcoming week, and we'll not do the lows. If I end up having time, I'll throw some stitches in for the low temperatures, as many as I can. But I think this week we're gonna do the highs only, and we'll see how I do, because I do get the boys back this weekend for the week. And I usually have less stitching time the weeks that I have them, because, you know, family stuff. When it's just me, I just come home and I stitch. I think I'm gonna cut out the low temperatures at least this week, maybe for right now, until the SAL gets done that I'm doing. I think once the SAL gets done, I'll be a-okay. That and the focus piece I have, one of the focus pieces. I think once that stuff gets done, I'll be fine. So here's my board. So I got to work on every piece, and I was being a little bit more strict with like my daily stitches of Goodnight Bears and the HAED cell, because I had so much stitching to catch up on with all the other stuff. Because usually what I'll do is if I have a thread, I'll just go ahead and finish it off. So sometimes I'll have like 136 stitches or 150 stitches, depending on where I'm at with my thread when I'm near the 100. But I was a little bit more strict. I left the thread, like with Goodnight Bears, I left the thread hanging, marked off my 100, and then moved on. And then same with Mary Mushroom, with the HAED cell, I just tried to keep it as close to the 200 as I could. And I did not do the extra stitches that I wanted to do, that I was planning on doing for the weekend. I still did the 200 a day, but I didn't do any extra over the weekend because of all the stuff that I was catching up on. So I'm not worried about finishing the SAL before the end of the year. I know I'm going to do that. That's not going to be a problem. But yeah, gingerbread carousel, we'll talk about that in a little bit, why I only did 300. And then Yippy Kay got 400 because I was trying to throw a good amount of stitches in before I tried to catch up on the temperature stitching yesterday. But overall, pretty good, pretty decent, pretty respectable job on the weekly pulls. And so I have these 8. I got a lot of whips to show today. Those 8, the 3 from Monopoly, So that's 11. And then for the temperatures, I worked on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different whips for the temperature cell. So 19 projects to show today. So I'm going to show my whips, all the whips. We're going to update my boards. Dang it. I forgot my baskets. Okay, I got my baskets. Pull for the new projects for the week. And then I'm gonna pause. We're gonna do a round of Monopoly. So I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna do a round of Monopoly. It's just gonna be boom, boom, boom. Just so you guys know what the order is that we're gonna be doing. So whips, update the boards, a round of draw for new projects, and then I'm gonna pause. We're gonna do a round of Monopoly, and then I'm gonna pause again because then I can just pull all the projects and show you what I plan on doing for the upcoming week. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me move this. Try to find a good spot for this thing so I'm not like doing that when I'm trying to look at my numbers. Maybe we'll just put it right there. Okay, so first up is my whip of shame. Oh, I'm sitting in a dining room chair. My office chair that I usually sit in is right over here, the one that squeaks all the time. But my office chair, so I have a dining room chair and an office chair in here because I'm a sucker. Mr. Whiskers, when I'm stitching, he'll come in the room and he'll kind of start rubbing his face on my knee, but then his cheek gets like pushed up onto my leg, so he's like rubbing his teeth on me. And he just sits there and he looks at me and he wants pets, and then he's rubbing on me and stuff. And then, hi Gracie. And then I had a thought, come here Gracie, I want to say hi to everybody. And I had thought, well, maybe he wants to sit next to me, because when I was stitching on my couch in the apartment, he would come sit next to me. Say hi to Gracie. Hello Gracie. He would come sit next to me, so I pulled the dining room chair in here to put next to me, and now he jumps up on the chair and he just sits there and he just chills. Hi Gracie. She's purring. Purr, purr, purr. Say hello to the fans. Hello. She's saying hello. Hello. All right, get down. Okay, so onto the whips. So anyway, yeah, I was just like, well, this is right here. Let me just sit in this today. Okay, first up is the whip of shame. This is Goodnight Bears from Designs for the Needle by Jan Lynn. I've had this project since 2004. Designed by somebody. Who was it again? Fiona Jude. I've had this project since 2004. So all my whips of shame are like over 10 years old, and so I have them in a basket and you guys vote. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show the 2 whips of shame that are contending for October, and I have not looked at the votes yet, so I don't know which one's in the lead right now. I have no clue, because I haven't had time to look at the votes because I've been so busy stitching. But so I'll show the projects again, so if you have not voted for the whip of shame, then you can go ahead and vote. You still got 1 week left. Okay, so for Goodnight Bears, I put in 604 stitches in on this piece this week, and this is where I got to. So I got more of his head filled in, working on his little face. There's his eye right there, but working on his little face right here. And I started working on his ear, well, both ears, but mainly like his ear over here. So I think I'm gonna stay focused working on his head so that gets completed, maybe. I have, today's the 19th. Technically I have 11 days left, but I'm hoping to maybe hit the 3,000 before I film the last Flosstube. Sorry, I'm pulling up my calendar real quick. Calendar. Today's the 19th. So I might have to show this in the first Flosstube of October. Because I have 11 days until the end of the month. And I was hoping to get the 3,000 stitches before the next Flosstube, which would be September the 27th. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how many. I did my numbers this time, like a good girl. I did my numbers so when we update my boards, everything's ready. But I don't remember. The notebook is under here somewhere. I don't remember how many stitches it was to finish the 3,000 stitch goal. Okay. So next up is my start, but not a new start. So my original plans were to have a rotation of full coverage and non-full coverage, and a rotation of for 10,000 and 10,000 stitches for full coverage, 5,000 for non-full coverage. List of projects I wanted to work on until they were done that I rotate through, and then no more than 5 new starts in this rotation going at once. So once I hit 5 new starts, I'm rotating through those until they hit 3,000 stitches. So it's technically not a new start anymore because it's already been started, but this is in my new start rotation. This is Cherry Blossom from Blue Fox Stitchery. And this is what it's going to look like when it is done. I did a start along with Alara and Blushing Pink Stitches. Lindsay, I think she is starting it this month with us. She'll probably have it done before me and Alara have it done. But I did an upper right hand corner start, and I needed 1,460 stitches to complete my 3,000 stitch goal. I didn't get all those. I did 600 stitches. I am doing this, is that the right way? Yeah. I'm doing this 2/1 tent stitch on this like 30 count China fabric. I got it off of AliExpress like over a year ago. I don't even remember what store I got it from. But I'm doing this on the diagonal. So I started working on this diagonal that's active, and I'd say I got what, maybe almost halfway done with it. But I got 600 stitches, 600 exactly. I did 600 stitches on this. So I now have a total of 2,140 stitches done out of 83,325, and I am at 2.57% complete. The fabric is not bad. It's not hard to work on at all, so I'm happy with it. Mr. Whiskers, come over here. You know, everybody was so upset last week that you didn't show your face. He's over in the doorway, right over here, that you can't see him. But he's over here. I'm waiting for him to come in so I can pounce and pick him up. Okay, next up, let me try to put my tablet right there. Okay, next up is my work on till it's finished piece. And this is from Twin Peak Primitives, and this is the Gingerbread Smalls from 2022. And my work on till it's finished project this week was the Gingerbread Smalls Carousel. That one right down there. Isn't that cute? So I'm doing this with the Call for DMC 2/2 on a 28 count even weave in the color Cornflower from Fiber on a Whim. Right? Yes. All right. So this week I did 300 stitches on it, focusing mainly on filling in the boring part, which was some of this right up here. And I got all of the boring part of the middle thing done and most of this, and I left a thread hanging because I hit 300 and I was like, I am so done working on this right now. So I really was not feeling it when I had pulled it out to work on it. And I think it's not because I don't like the piece. I think it's because I worked on it last week too. And if you've watched me for any length of time, you know that I don't really care to work on most projects multiple weeks in a row. I like to change. That's why I change my project every day. Like, it's killing me having like 4 focus pieces that I work on every single week right now. I don't like it. I like Honeymoon Sunset, but having these focus pieces every week, not a fan. So I decided to make a rule that for the projects that I pull, and I know I'm like doing temperature stitching, so it's like, I think it's just too many projects I'm working on repeatedly. And I think I'm like, oh God. So I think I'm gonna make a rule where the projects that I pull for my weekly stitching, like the regular basket pulls, if I pull it twice, I'm gonna pull something else. I'm not gonna work on it 2 weeks in a row. I've already got enough repeats with everything else that I don't want to do that again. Okay, so my non-full coverage for the week that I pulled to work on is from Lila Studio, and this is Holiday Quaker, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. I am doing this with the called for fancy floss, but I realized that I need to get another skein. I hope the dye lots aren't too different. Usually DMC, I don't care, but the overdyed threads, I'm like, ew. I realized I need another skein of blue spruce and cucumber, and I really hope that it's not too different. But anyway, I am doing this with the called for fancy floss on a 32 count Lugana in the color Something Blue by Mystic Fabrics. That's the fabric. It's really pretty. I like it a lot. And let me just move this thread out of the way. I did 500 stitches on it, and that is where I'm at with it so far. So I completed this entire area right here. I did these 2 motifs right here, and I started in on that one right there. So I think it's this color and this color, I believe, that I'm gonna need to get another skein of each of those. But yeah, I'm really liking how it's turning out so far. It looks really good. So 500 stitches on that. And this is also one of my Monopoly whips too. So it could make additional appearances, not even just me pulling it out of the thing. Basket. Okay. Mr. Whiskers, come here, my boy. Come here. He's gonna come over here. Come here. Oh, bear with me because he's 17 pounds. I can't just, it's a lot to pick him up. Oh, hi, baby. Say hello to everybody. They all missed you last week. Hello. Look at him. He's so handsome. He's so handsome. Oh, my boy. So there's your Mr. Whiskers spotting for the week. Oh, I love you so much. Okay, get down. Okay. Everywhere. Okay, next up is my full coverage for the week, and this is Fairy Tale Cottage, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It is, let's see if I remember, it's 979 by 737. Let's see if I was right. I was right. 979 by 737. It has 133 colors, and that is what it's going to look like when it's done. So I originally started over here in the upper left-hand corner, and I decided to be brave, and because I'm converting all of my full coverages to a diagonal, and if I'm doing diagonal in a tent stitch, I want to come from the right, And this project is in 10 stitch. So guess what I did? I counted over to the right hand corner. So of course the right hand corner is boring tree. Not fun tree. I got boring tree. So let me just show you. Maybe. Oh my God. Okay, let me show you where. I was trying to show you the original. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I was trying to show you my original starting point. Great, now I got cat hair all over my. Ugh. Okay, so this was my original starting point. Like where I first started working on it. And then I counted over using the needles, like counting the blocks up here, and I counted like 100, 200, and every 100 I would mark with a needle, like I would just put a needle in that block right there, and then I counted. So once I got to where I needed to go, then I counted it about 5 more times, just to make sure I was right. And keeping my fingers crossed that I counted correctly. I'm gonna be really pissed off at myself if I didn't. But I'm doing a 2 over 1 10th stitch on, I think this might be a 25 count easy count Lugana. And so I don't really have a before photo of this, but this boring tree. And this is going to look more like tree leaves and stuff once these diagonals start getting filled in more. But Fairy Tale Cottage, I did 603 stitches on this. Didn't quite get that second diagonal done, but that's okay. I'm happy with what I did do. There was a lot of confetti. You can see there's a lot of confetti in this. But I did 603 stitches, and so combining that with previous, I am now at, wow, I did a lot of it. Is this the right pattern? Wow. Combining that with the other side that I showed you, I've done 25,234 stitches. I didn't realize I did that many. Out of 721,523, and I am at 3.50%. So, because like this side over here, I had all this, and then I was gonna do like extreme cross country, so I came down here and I was doing like the 979 because there's a lot of it. And then I got bored with that, so then I started filling in this section down here. And then it got put away for all my other plans. So. Hashtag team bedspread, am I right? I know that there's people out there watching and they're like, oh my God, there's so many whips. How can you do so many? Because I don't do this stuff to hang it on my wall. I do it because I enjoy it. It's fun. I like it. I don't stress about the amount of projects I have, so neither should you. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It really is okay. I ain't stressing. You're not stressing. It's fine. Okay. So I do plan on finishing stuff eventually. That's why I have the section that I pull from where I work on it until it's done. Okay, next up is one of my focus. So now we're into, that was my weekly pulls, and now we're into the focus pieces. So I got 4 of them. This one is a very meaningful piece. If you saw last week's video, you know what I'm talking about. Very meaningful piece. This is for my son. This is Yippy Kay, motherfucker, by Stitchman Darcy. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. Anyone who's not familiar with it, it is a quote from Die Hard. Now I feel like I have to say this every time. It is a quote from a movie, Die Hard. Classic movie. And this is 191 by 79. I have no idea how many colors it has. Like 10 maybe, if that. Wait, oh, I can count. 1, 2, 3, 9. Well, I mean, I know I can count, but I mean, it was like, it's not like it's a lot. Like I don't have to scroll through the colors. That's what I meant to say. Okay. So I got 400 stitches on this, and this is where you saw it the last time. And I'm just doing this with the Call for DMC on a 14 count ivory Aida. Now it says fucker. I got to finish the white in the E, and I started working on some of the border right here because I was trying to, I didn't want to get dinged on Facebook because I was playing a game in Hell's Stitchin', and I didn't really want to be going all over the place with this piece and have the word fuck just bah, 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 in the game and then get dinged by Facebook. So I was trying to, like when I was doing my pre and post photos, I was trying to at least just maybe do that right there. So I was staying in this kind of like little quadrant right here. So I didn't do the back stitching on the C or the K, but I did do the cross stitching for the most of the E and the R. And then I started working on some of the border because that's going to be a lot because it goes around the whole piece. But I did 400 stitches. There is back stitching, so I don't know how many back stitches it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be more than what I thought it was going to be. And but cross stitching wise, I have done cross stitching wise, I have done 2,258 stitches out of 6,661, and I am at 33.90%. That's pretty cool. I'm almost halfway done with the cross stitching. Not bad, not bad. I know that if I focused on this thing, I could probably get this done in like maybe a week and a half. But I won't. So I won't. Okay, next up is my Heaven and Earth stitch along. Okay, so you guys know how everybody goes through these phases of projects where it's like you start the new project and you absolutely love the piece. You're like, oh my God, I love it so much. I want to work on it all the time, right? And then you kind of get to the phase where you're like, I still like it. I'm starting to get a little tired of it though. And then you get to the phase where you're like, oh my God, I hate this thing so much. I don't think I want to finish it. And for some people, that's when you start a new project and you put the other one to the side, may or may not ever pick it up again. But I am determined to finish this thing. Like, I want the free stuff. So this is a closed sale from Heaven and Earth Designs. And if you finish 4 pages, you get all the stitch along charts that were offered. And if you finish the piece by the end of the year, you get all the charts plus 2 free charts off of her website. So my pick was Merry Mushroom Village Picnic 2 by Amy Stewart. It is 300 by 205. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. Part 4 is going to get released on October the 1st. Alara is a lot farther along than I am. And I told her, I said, I'm jealous that you're that much farther along, but not jealous enough where I want to focus on it like you are. So, but I am at the point now where I really don't care for this project, but I am so determined. I am like, you are not going to defeat me. I will win. And I will get this thing done. You will not best me. That's where I feel with this project right now. So I did my 200 stitches a day like I've been wanting to, and I finished the diagonal that was up here, and I started on this one. So I'm probably about, I think the stitches, there's like some scattered stitches up here. I think I might be about halfway done with this diagonal. But that's where I'm at with it right now. So you still see it? Because I gotta pull up my numbers. I did 1,211 stitches. So I can't see. There we go. So I now have a total of 44. So, okay. These numbers here are for parts 1, 2, and 3. This is not including the entire total. 44,554 stitches done out of the parts that have been released, which is 58,860. And I am at 75.69% done. Like I said, here's the diagonal that I think I showed before, and I just had like a little bit left. But yeah. So I'm going to keep plugging away at this, 200 stitches a day. If I have time, I'll do 400 on the weekends, or if I have a day off. I'm hoping to get some time off for my birthday at the end of next month. And maybe I can like get some more like extra stitches in on this thing. To maybe, because by the time that time off for my birthday comes around, all 4 parts will be released. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm not worried about finishing it by the end of the year. If I keep doing what I'm doing, if I drop down and just do 200 stitches a day, I will actually have this thing done. If I mathed it out right, I'll have it done by mid-December. If I up it where I can do 400 stitches on Saturdays and Sundays, and then 200 Monday through Friday, I think I would have it done in November. What did I say before? 200 a day, I'll have it done by mid-December. If I increase it to the 400 on the weekends, I will most likely have it done. Hey! Sorry, Mr. Whiskers just attacked Gracie, but I think Gracie started it. And if you heard that and you're like, oh, poor Gracie, don't feel bad for her, because she does that pathetic cry at everything. She's such a drama queen. She really is. Don't feel bad for her. Although he is pretty big. Mr. Whiskers, you leave her alone. Okay. But yeah, I should have this done no later than mid-December, but I'm hoping to get it done earlier. But yeah, I'm really getting sick of it, and I will not do the SAL next year. I don't even know why I did it this year. Like, I don't really care for SALs because I can't usually stay caught up on them. Like, I don't know. It's whatever. I'm gonna get the stupid thing done. I'm gonna get it done. Okay. Next up is my last focus piece, and this is Honeymoon Sunset, charted by Charting Creations. Rewind. Next up is Honeymoon Sunset, charted by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. It is 869 by 649. It has 133 colors. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I love it so much. I have been working all over the place on this, and I originally had a challenge to do 25,000 stitches on it. The first half of the year, I got that done. And then I found a method of stitching on it that I absolutely loved, and I didn't want to put it down. I am stitching this in on the diagonal from the right-hand side, and I really, really loved it. And I wanted to keep working on it. So I set myself a new goal to get it to 45% by the end of the year. Because when I finished my 25K challenge, I was at 34.5%. So that was about 59,000 and change stitches I needed to get it to 45%. So I was like, well, let's see if I can do that by the end of next year, by the end of 2025. So I did 1,010 stitches on this thing. I'm doing it 2 over 1/10 stitch on a 25 count, easy count Lugana. I'll show you the whole thing in a minute, but I started a new diagonal because I finished this diagonal last week. So I started a new diagonal. And that's where I'm at with it. Got a lot of that diagonal done. And then I was like kind of working in here too, a little bit. But yeah, so y'all are gonna see another big milestone next week. Could I have hit this big milestone this week? Yes, I could have, but I had so much going on that I was like, no, I'll just wait for next week. I am at 199,600 stitches done 400 more stitches and I will hit 200,000. Out of 563,981, I am at 35.39%. And here's, sorry for the noise. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why do I always have problems? I think I have my phone closer. That might be why. But this is where I'm at with it. So tree from hell right there. I hate that tree. I mean, I love it, but I hate it. It looks really good. Look at that. It looks so good. But God, I hate palm trees. Then I work my way across the top. There's a sailboat right there. I show this every week because you guys love it so much. I love looking at it too. The lighthouse starting in. There's another palm tree coming in right there. There's another palm tree right there. There's another palm tree right there. There's more trees right there. Like, ugh. Hate palm trees. But I love the scenes that palm trees live in, so I have to deal with it. There's the gazebo right there. So I figured it out, and the next diagonal, I'm gonna kind of hit maybe the corner of it. So maybe not the one I'm working on right now, but the one after that, I think I'm gonna hit, yeah, I'm gonna kind of hit the corner of it because it's gonna come right there. And then the one after that, I will hit, I'll start filling this gazebo in. So that's exciting because there's like a lot of it's done, but there is still some stitches. But yeah, a lot of that gazebo, oh, that looks really good. So, and the other stuff is just like boring background. I mean, it's not boring, but just background stuff. So, yeah. 400 stitches away from, I almost sat down with no chair behind me. And that would have been bad. Oh man. Okay, 400 more stitches and I will hit 200,000 stitches on this thing. How exciting is that? I'm excited. So yeah, I'm at 35.39% done. So far this year, I have increased this by 5.39% because I started the year at 30%. Where's my bag? Okay. I still have whips to show. I don't know how Darren gets through these whips so quickly. Okay, so my temperature, so we're moving on to the temperature stitching, so I don't need this anymore. Let me put this over here. So my temperature stitching, what I was doing, sorry, I can't figure out where to put stuff. So my temperature stitching, what I was doing was I was looking at the high and the low for the week, and I was taking the second number. I took 10 whips, assigned them to the numbers 0 through 9, and the high and the low of the day, I'm doing whatever that number is. So if it's a high of 82 and a low of 64, then I would take the whip assigned to number 3 and the whip assigned to number 4, and I would throw 100 stitches on each of them. Easy way to throw some extra stitches on some projects. And once they hit 1,000 stitches, I'm going to switch them out for a different project. So first one up is, all right, so the one that was assigned to the number 0 did not get any stitches, so we're not going to show that one. The one that was assigned to number 1 is Merry Christmas. This one was owed 300 stitches. Now I did have a few hundred stitches from last week that were owed, and it was mainly on sampler 124, which will be next. I think this piece had 100 stitches owed to it, and then like it popped up twice on the weekly temps. But this one needed 300 stitches, That's what it's going to look like when it's done. It's a kit from Artiste. I think it might be on eBay. I've had this piece for a bit. $20.15. So technically next year this could go in my whip of shame, I think. I don't remember when I started it. One thing real quick I want to say, you guys who watch me on the regular will get sick of hearing this, but for anyone who has this in their stash waiting to be started, pay no attention to my writing over here, I messed this up. This symbol right here was mistakenly put right here as well. It is correct for here. This color should be that symbol right there. And I realized that when I started working on this and I was doing this Christmas tree, I was like, because I just was going down the line looking for that symbol, and I was like, oh, okay, wait, it's a tree. Why is there dark red in there? And when I looked, I was like, oh my God. So this piece was owed 300 stitches, and I got that done. I was originally planning on doing the back stitching for that Christmas tree. That is the I in the Christmas. I was going to do the back stitching before I moved on to the S, but I decided I wanted to try to, I was trying to catch up on everything, and I knew the back stitching was going to slow me down. So I decided to go ahead and just keep cross stitching the S. And then once the S is done, then I'll go back and back stitch both of those letters. And the S is going to be super cute because it's got like the jingle bells. So there's going to be like French knots on the yellow part because they're jingle bells. That's what the yellow is. And then, oh my God. And then there's also French knots in the Christmas tree on the pink and red ornaments. There's French knots on those too. So. But yeah, that's coming along really good. So this got 300 stitches this week. But yeah, like I think once I get the Sal done and my son's piece, Yippy Kay, once I get that done, that'll kind of open it up a little bit more, and I will be able to do both the high and the low. But for right now, I'm going to drop the low and we'll just do the high temperatures because I really do like what I'm doing. Mainly because it's a fun way to throw some extra stitches in on the project. Okay, next up. Sampler 124. This thing was my nemesis this week because I didn't get to finish all my temperature stitching the week before, so it was still owed 300 stitches, and then it needed another 400 for this week. So it needed a total of 700. Did I get the 700? No, I did not. I only got 300. So it still needs 400 stitches on it. And that's why I was like, well, if I just cut out the lows, I should be able to catch up on that. Again, I'm not stressing it. And I'm not stressing that I didn't get it all done. Like, I'm annoyed that I couldn't get it all done. I think that's more of what it is. It's not causing any anxiety or anything. I'm just like, man, that's annoying. So this is from 2x2 Stitch Art. It's a monochrome piece. When I bought it, it was called Sampler 124. I do not remember if that is still the name of it, but it's from 2x2 Stitch Art on Etsy. And I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm not doing it monochrome. I'm doing it with, oh, let me get that. Oh dear. Oh, there it is. Hang on. Sorry. I want to get my card for the piece because I have the colors written on here. I'm doing it on 2 strands full cross on a, I think this might be like a 16 count white opalescent Aida. I got 300 stitches done, and this is where I'm at with it so far. So I'm doing the block borders in $37.99, and then I'm doing it alternating colors. So I put it's in Pattern Keeper, and so I put diagonals on it 20 stitches wide, and I started with the color pink. So it's pink, like 2 strands of pink, which is 38.05, 1 strand of pink, 1 strand of purple. The purple is 38.35. Then I did 2 strands of purple. Then I did a strand of purple and a strand of blue, and the blue is 37.50. Then I did 2 strands of blue, and then a strand of blue and a strand of pink, and then 2 strands of pink, and then this is the strand of purple and the strand of pink, and then this will be purple, and it's just going to go like that across the entire pattern. So I'm kind of trying to, I was going to do last week when I worked on this, I was like, well, let me get this entire diagonal done. Then when I pulled it out this week, I was like, well, actually, let me work a length of thread in each color and try to get all the way across. That way I have a better kind of like foundation for this. So that's where I worked at, right there. This area right here. And then I got the purple and I started working a thread of purple. The only one I'm not super pleased with is the pink and the blue, because everything else kind of transitions a little bit better. But the pink and the blue to the pink, it doesn't transition super well. But it's all right. This is my first time doing this, and I just I was winging it. So I wouldn't mind doing this again on another piece, and I will probably change the colors of what I'm doing to flow better. So it's okay. It's a learning opportunity. So I got 300 stitches completed, and I'm currently at 4,310 stitches done out of 39,038, and I'm at 11.04% complete. So this is still owed stitches. Yeah. So let's keep our fingers crossed I can get this, get the stitches caught up on this now that I'm cutting out the low temperatures, so I don't have to worry about those. So that was for temperature, the one that was assigned to the number 2, sampler 124. Okay, the one assigned to number 3 was Let's Talk Stitching, and this is by Hands On Design. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm using the called for DMC, and I am doing it on a 14 count black Aida. And this needed 100 stitches. And that's where I got to. I got the word scissors completed, and I started in on the scissors that are going through the word scissors. So next time its temperature comes up, I will continue with that pair of scissors. But that's where I'm at with it. Okay. Next up is the one that was assigned to number 4, and that is from Stitching Jewels Design, and this is Gothic House. It's a monochrome piece. It is, she has an Etsy store. It's 330 by 330. And that is what it's going to look like when it's done. This one was owed 200 stitches. So the temperature ended in 4 2 times this week. And I'm doing it 1/1 full cross on a 25 count Vintage Stormy Night by Zweigart. Bear with me for 1 second because I do have a thread hanging. And with these pieces, I am being very vigilant in sticking to the 100 because I'm not tracking it on a board like I am with my weekly stitching. So I'm like literally just, I have the hundreds written out for how many until 1,000, and then I'm just scribbling out the 100 when it gets done, and then I update my computer based on how many, like my spreadsheet with how many stitches I've done, updating my spreadsheet with how many hundreds got circled out. Okay, so this one was owed 200 stitches, and I got that done. It's looking really good. And it was over here, if you didn't see from the before photo. But I am currently at 3,376 stitches completed out of 28,708, and I am at 11.76% done. Oh, paper fell. So there's that. Okay. Next up is the project that was assigned to the number 5. And it's another Stitching Jewels piece, and this one is Sea Turtle. This one has made an appearance every week. Every week. But it only had 100 stitches owed to it this week, instead of like, 200 or 300 like all the other weeks. Okay. So this is from Stitching Jewels as well, and it's 270 by 150. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm doing it 2/1 full cross on an 18 count Aida in the color Coastal by Picture This Plus. And like I said, this thing, it only needed 100 stitches on it for this week. So I've been working in this front flipper right here. And not gonna lie, I screwed it up right down here somewhere. I did a little section of this part right here twice, so these are off. And I didn't realize it until I kind of got up in this, when I was coming back up, and I'm like, something's not matching up. And I was like, oh no. But you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna wing it. I'm gonna fudge it. I ain't pulling all that out. I will figure it out. So I think I noticed it when I was like over here, like something wasn't matching up, and I was like, what the heck? And so I came back down and I was like kind of getting this worked out so it matched back up with this part. And once I realized my mistake, and I was like, crap, I'm not pulling all that out. So I'm working my way back up kind of this way a bit, and then I'm gonna kind of come across and come back down, see how it all matches up, and then I'll fudge it. All right, so I did 100 stitches on this. Hey, Mr. Whiskers, come over here. Come here, you come over here. Those two, I don't know what's going on with them. So I did 100 stitches. I'm now at 2,701 stitches done out of 8,334, and I am at 32.41%. All right. Next up is the one that was assigned to number 6, that did not come up at all this week. The one that's assigned to number 7 is Peacock Gnome, and this is from cutebroidery.com. Let me find, here it is. Cutebroidery.com. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. Holding it back here because I don't have a cover photo. And I'm doing this on a 14 count Charles Craft Aida. You can pick that up at Joann's, Michael's, whatever, and it also is available on 123 Stitch. But I do not, they actually have names for the colors on 123 Stitch. I don't know what they're called though, but I did see it on there. But this one is like, they have like these printed, like that's the back, so it's not, and then that's the front. Of course, I showed you the part that you can't really see. But this is like a bluey greeny fabric that I thought was very appropriate for a Peacock Gnome. And this needed 100 stitches. And I worked on filling in the blue for his sleeves. There's just a little bit of blue up here that needs to be filled in, and then I was working on his hand. So I got the 100 stitches done. I have no idea how far along I am with this one because I'm working off of a paper pattern. So, but yeah, he's coming out pretty cute. I like the shading on his hat. It looks really good. And I like the peacock feather that I did there a lot. I like this piece. All right. Next up is the one that was assigned to temperature number 8. And this is another artiste kit. It is called Welcome. That is what it's going to look like when it's done. You know, I was saying about Merry Christmas that it was from 2015 and it's almost 10 years old, but it's not. I've had it since 2015, I believe. But I didn't start it until like 2 years ago. Okay. I was like, oh my God, don't tell me that's a whip of shame. It's not. It's not. I just started it like 2 years ago. Okay, hang on, because, oh, I have a thread hanging, that's why. I was like, why is there still thread here? Okay, so this one was owed 100 stitches, which I was able to do. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm working on the E over here. So cross-stitching wise, this utensil is done. I just need to finish off the spoon right here. I think that's supposed to be a fork, but it doesn't really quite look like a fork. But the fork is done. I need to finish the ladle. I need to finish the spoon here, and I need to finish the gray that's in the knife right here. And then I will be able to start back stitching it so that that E is done. And then I think once the E is done, I'll probably come up here and work on that chicken up there. Maybe, unless I decide to go over and do the L. I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I'm still working on the E. So that got its 100 stitches. Okay, next up is the last temperature piece, and this was the one assigned to number 9, and it is Spanish Sampler. Oh, this is out of 101 Best Left Designs by Cross Stitch and Country Crafts. And where's the photo? Here it is. So the project assigned to number 9 is this piece right here, and it is Spanish Sampler. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I did a start in the corner up here, and I have moved on to that top band right there. So it needed 100 stitches to for its temperatures this week. I'm doing this 2/2, unless there's satin stitches, and then I'm using 3 strands on a 28 count casual linen in the color white casual linen. So this was done. I got 100 stitches on it. That 4-sided back stitch right there, I brought this across, and then I started working on this over here. So this is just some cross stitching, and actually that green line right there, it's hard to tell, but that green line is also a 4-sided back stitch right here. These are cross stitches and these are cross stitches. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Obviously I have no idea how far along I am. So when this comes out again, and this is also a Monopoly piece, so that's exciting. When this comes out again, I will keep working on that top band. You know, it's so funny. If you would have asked me like 3 years ago, do you want to do this sampler? No. Do you want to do a fancy lady? No. Now look at me. Samplers and fancy ladies all over the place. Okay. Moving on. Still not done with the whips. Jesus, this is going to be a long video. Still not done with the whips. Now we're moving on to my Monopoly stitching. So, I played around when I showed like a turn for all the pieces. I played when I did my explanation, my separate video where I explained my rules for my Monopoly game. And I'm playing with 4 tokens, like 4 pieces, a cat, a dog, a thimble, and a car. Now, somebody had left a comment saying, "Oh, I want to play along. I'm going to pick one of your tokens, and that's going to be like my token, and I'm going to do stitches." And I was actually, yes, do it. I was actually glad that you said that because I was going to suggest it before. So go watch my Monopoly video if you want to understand what I'm doing. But I personally, because I'm playing with all 4 tokens myself, I have my whips assigned to properties. But if you want to play along at home with me, you can. You don't need 5 million whips to play this game. What you could do is you could assign stitch counts to various things. You could keep the same stitch counts I'm doing actually if you wanted to. So for round 1 going around the board, if you land on a property, I'm gonna do 100 stitches on that property's whip. But if you decide, well, I want to play along too, but I don't have 33 projects to assign to the game, you don't need 33 projects. Pick a token. Be the cat, be the dog, be the thimble, be the, whatever. And be like, okay, she landed on St. James Place and it's only the first go around the board. I'm going to put 100 stitches in on this piece. Either a separate piece from your normal, whatever you're working on, or an extra 100 stitches on whatever piece you are working on top of what you would have normally done. And stitch counts are going to be changing as the game progresses because of purchasing properties and rent and whatnot. So you could assign a special project to one of my pieces because I'm going to show a clip where I'm playing a turn for every piece every video. So you could be like, okay, what's she gonna, where does that dog token land this week? And be like, okay. And then that's what you're gonna do. And then the next video after that, so you could play along at home. You really could. But anyway, so it's the first time around the board. So right now I'm kind of doing a combination of official rules and house rules. And I'm trying to think of, I think when I was a kid, me and my best friend would play this, and we had a house rule that the first full spin around the board, first time around the board, you couldn't buy any properties. And I think it was so that we weren't piling on top of each other, trying to get all the properties, because as you go around the board, you kind of start spreading out a little bit. And so we said, first time around the board, you don't do any, you can't buy any properties. So first time around the board for me, whatever property the tokens land on is 100 stitches. Once we pass go, then we can start buying properties, and that's where the fun begins. So the cat landed on Connecticut. The thimble and the car landed on Vermont, and the dog landed on Chance. And I created Chance and Community chess cards for that were Stitchy related. And yes, I know there's a Stitchopoly game. I've never really looked at it. I'm just playing with my kids' Monopoly game because they don't play Monopoly right now. They're not into Monopoly, so it's whatever. But the dog landed on Chance, and the first Chance card I picked up, he went to jail. So there's that. Okay, so cat landed on Connecticut. The Connecticut property is Summertime by Stitch Rovia. And stop it. Oh my God, stop it. This is what it's gonna look like when it's done. So since it's the first time around the board, this needed 100 stitches, and I did that. I'm doing it with the called for DMC on like a 14 count opalescent Aida. And I focused on the border around Picnic in the Park. Right up there. So got my 100 stitches on this. So I now have 3,867 stitches done out of 9,416. I am at 41.07% on this. So there's that. And then the thimble and the car both landed on Vermont. So that property has James Dean assigned to it, and that's another Stitching Jewels piece. This was actually my first Stitching Jewels piece that I had ever received. She gifted this to me in hopes that I would stitch it and then like show it off, but I haven't finished it. Sorry, Jules. But James Dean is, let me tell you the size real quick and I'll show you the photo. 170 by 240. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. That is an actor from the 1950s in the US who died in a car accident because he apparently drove a cursed car. There's like a whole story behind it. But anyway, I'm doing it 2/1 full cross on an 18 count Aida in the color, oh, I get this wrong all the time. Wedgwood? Hazelwood? Hazelwood. I don't remember. I got it off of 123 Stitch like 2 years ago. I really do not remember. And let me show you where I worked and then I'll show up the whole thing because I can't get the whole thing on my little board here. So I worked down here in the, because this part is a lot of, it's his shirt and it's a lot of like, it's a big bulk of a stitch. So I was like, well, let me, since I only need to do, he needed 200 stitches. And so I was like, well, since I only have to do 200, let me start working on this like shirt. So I did like some going, a few rows going across, and then I came up here and I started filling in from the top up there. So I am now there. God, that looks really good. Look at that. You like see cheekbones and everything. I am now at 6,000, nope. All right, look at this. 4,792 stitches out of 12,954. I am at 36.99%. Couldn't be 37, could I? But yeah, look at that face. It looks really, really good. I'm excited to get this done. So, one more whip, an hour in. Actually, it's past an hour because I had like a 5-minute blip and then I realized I forgot my basket, so I had to pause. Oh God, this is gonna be so long. Okay, final whip. My dog landed in jail. For my jail piece, I picked my least favorite. Now, I like all my projects, okay? Let me just say that now. I like all my projects, but everybody has a favorite and everybody has a least favorite. I picked my least favorite project for jail because as much as I love what this looks like, I freaking hate working on it, but I want to see it done because it's really cute. A whole lot of latte by Dimensions. I've had this thing, it's a whip of shame. I mean, you see the cover photo is like so jacked. It's from 2007. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. But I really like it, like these are the colors, and when you hold them up against the against the black fabric, it's like, wow, that looks really good. And of course they had the colors wrapped around the black fabric in the store. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, I love it. Anyway, so my dog landed in jail. So I had to do 200 stitches on this thing. So my jail pieces, if I land in jail, I have to do 200 stitches on them. That's like the punishment, right? And so I did that. And I worked on that blue cup right there. I did that while I was at my mom's. But that's the whole thing. But yeah, I worked on the blue cup right there. So there's that. But this is not going to be the last time you see this piece because the dog has not rolled doubles to get out of jail yet. I'm going to do that tonight. See if he gets out of jail. So if I roll doubles for him, he gets out of jail. And I think usually what we used to do is you would roll doubles and you would just get out of jail. You wouldn't go. But if I roll doubles, I'm going to go. But if he doesn't roll doubles, then I have to do another 200 stitches. And that is a total of 3 times. Somebody asked me, what happens if multiple pieces land in jail? I didn't think about that. And if that happens, I'm going to be big mad that I have to do so many effing stitches on that piece. But anyway, okay. Finally done with the whips. That was 16 whips I had to show in 1 week. And I think I did pretty damn good with the amount of stitches I got done. So let's go ahead and update these boards. So the first board we're going to update. So I don't have boards for my Monopoly or my temperature stitching. I probably should get some though, so that we can get those, start tracking that stuff too. Okay, so my first board that we're going to update is my New Start and Finish board. Bear with me for 1 second because I got my thing right here. Okay, so my New Start and Finish board. I don't know why I still have these magnets on here. They don't do anything. They're like to hold papers and stuff, and I'm not doing anything with them, but I just have them sitting there. Okay, so Cherry Blossom was my kind of quote unquote new start. I did 600 stitches on it, or whatever I said it was, and it is now, so that's number 1. I want to get 3,000 stitches on these. Oh, and whoever commented that I forgot the number 1 on my Yippy Kay, thank you, because I fixed it. So this is now at 2,140 stitches completed for its goal. And this drops from 1,460 down to 860. So less than 1,000 stitches. So the next time that Cherry Blossom gets pulled out, I am going to get that goal done. Okay, the carousel down here went from, I don't have a stitch count for these because I don't know how much these will take to finish, but this is increasing from 498 to 798. So there's that one. Next up is my full coverage board. There's my eraser. And my full coverage piece this week was Fairy Tale Cottage. This was the first time I worked on it. So I have a goal of 10,000 stitches for my full coverage pieces. And I got, how much? 603? Yeah. I got 603 stitches on it. So my goal for this now went from 10,000 down to 9,397. I think the one that's furthest along is Hiding Place because I got a really good amount of stitches on it. But yeah, I got, if you haven't seen it, I have 20 projects in my full coverage rotation, 20 projects in my non-full coverage rotation, and I just pull one out every week. work on it. And then I have a lot more in my closet. That's why I'm doing Monopoly. That's why I'm doing my temperature stitching. So I'm back in that phase where I want to work on all my projects, but I really like what I'm doing, so I want to keep this too. Okay, my non-fold coverage for the week was Holiday Quaker, and I have not worked on this one yet this week. My non-fold coverages I want to get 5,000 stitches on, and then they'll get replaced with something else. Okay, Holiday Quaker was 500 stitches. So its goal has gone from 5,000 down to 4,500. Hang on to this eraser for a minute. Okay, my last board is my 4 focus pieces right here. So Merry Mushroom Village has increased from stitches completed. My goal is to get it done by the end of the year. This has gone from 43,343 to 44,554. Stitches remaining for the entire piece is dropping from 18,159 down to 16,946. Yay! We're getting closer to that 15,000 mark. Okay, Honeymoon Sunset. I want to get 45% by the end of 2025. I think the original stitch count was started at like 59,000 and change, so that's the number we're working backwards from. So this is increasing for stitches completed from this is not counting the 25,000 I did earlier this year. It's increasing from 40,030 stitches to 5,040. And my goal has dropped from 55,196 down to 54,186. That'll be exciting when I get less than 50K needed on that. Goodnight Bears has increased from 1,463 stitches completed to 2,067. And my goal for the month, I want to get 3,000 because it's 100 stitches a day and there's 30 days in September. This has dropped from 1,537 down to 933. Maybe I think what I'll do is I'll keep doing the 100 and I'll see where I'm at the end of this weekend regarding my stitching and see if maybe I could get this goal done and we'll just be done with it. And then I could start on my new Whip of Shame early. Okay, Yippy Kay. This number is going to be skewed because I added 1,000 stitches for back stitching, but I don't think it's going to be enough. But you see, I fixed it. This has increased from 1,244 stitches done to, my goal is to finish this thing, to 1,644. I remember the one this time. And my goal has dropped from 5,220 down to 4,820. And again, I might have to change that goal depending on the back stitching. Okay, so those are all my boards. Now, let's pull from the baskets to see what projects I'm going to work on this week. So for my full coverage for the week, I'm going to pull a full coverage, a non-full coverage, a work until it's finished, and one of those 5 new starts. Okay, my full coverage for the week is Springtime Splendor. So I'm going to pull these and then I'll pause. We'll do Monopoly and then I'll pull all the whips. My non-full coverage for the week can't get it. And if I pull a repeat, I'm gonna put it back and we'll draw again. A non-full coverage for the week. Oh, Sugar Cookie House. I haven't worked on that in a while. Okay. In 1 second, because I've got like 3 different types of things in here. I've got my Whip of Shame things and my New Start things and my Work Until They're Finished things, because there's not enough of them for me to justify having an entire basket for them. But I wait until now to separate them because I'm paranoid that they're gonna fall over and then go everywhere. Okay. So the yellow is my Work Until It's Finished. If I pull the carousel again, oh no, it's a different one. I saw gingerbread. I'm like, are you kidding me? But the gingerbreads are staying out because I pulled gingerbread train. It's okay because it's different. Okay. Now, if I pull cherry blossom, even though I said I was going to, whoops. Okay. I'm gonna say if I pull cherry blossom, I don't know if I'm going to put it back and draw a new one. Oh no, Halloween spell. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna pause the video. I'm going to move that thing right there over here so we can do a turn of Monopoly real quick, and then I'm going to grab all the projects I'm going to work on for the week. We'll be right back. Okay, it's Monopoly time. So I have my board rotated because now we're going to be moving on to this side of the board over here. I have all my pieces set up. So my dog's in jail, cat's on Connecticut, car and thimble are on Vermont. So let's go ahead and roll for the cat first. And I have my paper over here that I'm writing down where everybody lands. Hopefully I don't shake this too much because I have this on my little gooseneck stand, but I'm kind of holding it back a little bit so that we get more of the board showing. Okay, so the cat is going 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that one lands on, hang on, I'm writing it down real quick, Pennsylvania Railroad. And again, this is the first time going around the board, so these are just going to be 100 stitches on each one. Okay, now we're gonna do the dog. We're rolling for doubles to see if this mofo gets out of jail. Oh! Damn it. No doubles. Okay, so he's staying in jail. For the thimble, of course the thimble gets doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And since it got doubles, it's gonna roll again. But first one up will be Electric Company. Oh Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chance. I really hope this isn't shaking too bad. Advance to Boardwalk. 200 stitches. All right. Way over there. So the thimble will be the first one to pass go. So Boardwalk. Let me write that down too. So the thimble will actually be the first one to buy properties as well. Oh my God, I got doubles. Oh, if it gets doubles again, it's going to jail. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, oh my God, I need more space. So the thimble passed go. Can you see it right there? Yeah, it landed on Baltic. So thimble, go, and it's going to buy Baltic. My goodness, that went a lot faster than I thought it was going to. Okay, now for the car. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Virginia. And it's still on the first round. So it's just 100 stitches. So this is how I'm kind of tracking it real quick while I got my phone right here. So this was round 1 right up here. I wrote down what places they were, and then I wrote off to the side which pieces they were and how many stitches they needed. For round 2, I wrote down where they were. So the thimble is the most confusing one for me right now. But Electric Company, then it landed on Chance, so it went to Boardwalk with that card. And then the third roll of the dice went past Go, and I put Baltic with a B because it is going to buy Baltic, and I'll be tracking all that as well. And then the car landed on Virginia. So I'm going to pause the video. If you picked a piece and you're playing along that you're going to throw some stitches in on it, go for it. But I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to grab all my whips up that I'm going to work on this week, and I will be back. Okay, so I'm back to go over all the whips. So I'm going to show you the projected whips for the temperature stitching first. I did go ahead and look ahead at this upcoming week's temperatures. I'm not going to say like 84, 86. I'm just going to show you which ones they are and how many stitches they should get. Ideally, they will get, but we'll say should get. So the first one will be, I'm kind of going backwards a little bit here, but Spanish Sampler. If I can get all the stitches done, let's say that now. So I'm just going to pretend like I will get all the stitching done. I'm holding it the wrong way. 100 stitches for this one. And then Welcome. Since I just showed these, I'm just going to do this part. Another 100 stitches. And then this one here, I'll show the cover photo because I didn't work on it last week. Haunted Library Sal from Lola Crow Cross Stitch. It's a bad printout of the final chapter. I'm still in the prologue. That's my starting point. So this will get 100. And whenever one of these hits their 1,000 stitch goal, I do have a project to substitute for it. I'm not going to show it this week because it's not going to need to be done this week. And I thought this one here would be substituted out for, like switched out first. Sea Turtle. I thought this one would get switched out first because I was working on it so much the first couple weeks. This will get 100. Once this 100 gets done, it just needs one more time and it will get replaced. Because after this upcoming 100 that I'm going to do, it will be at 900. And then the next one will be sampler 124. I might have to pull a couple replacements out. We'll see what next week, the next time, what those temperatures are like to see how many replacements I need to pull out. This one here, I still owe 400 from this week and the previous week. And then this upcoming week, I really need to probably focus on this one and get it done because it needs another 100. So that's going to be a total of 500 stitches that it gets. And once that all gets done, it will be at 900 out of 1,000. So this one will be due for a replacement soon. And then the next one will be Merry Christmas. That's this one here. And this one will get 200, and when this 200 gets done, it will also be at 900. So I got 3 pieces that are about to get switched out because they got 1,000 stitches on it just this month alone. And then the last one will be Twisted Band Sampler from Northern Expressions. That one there. and it will get 100 stitches. And that is my starting point. So the three that are closest to hitting their 1,000 stitch temperature goal are Merry Christmas, Sampler 124, and what did I say the other one was? Sea Turtle. So I have one project ready to replace in the wings. I'll probably go ahead and just pull out a couple more so that they're ready, but this one that I pulled, a Cup of Cheer, it will be the first one to replace one of these. Not this coming week, but the following week, whenever one of them gets another 100. So my weekly pulls, and then I'll show my Monopoly ones, and then we're gonna do the contenders for the Whip of Shame. My weekly polls, my new start but not a new start because it's already been started, is from Shannon Christine, and it is Halloween Spell, that one right there. And this is my starting point with it. So this is on an Easy Grid Ada. And if I'm still working on the cross stitching of the DMC, if I get the cross stitching done and I am ready to, then I'll try to show a video where I soak this to get the grid lines out, because once I do that, then I can do the metallic that it calls for. I'm not going to do the metallic until this part's done, the DMC part. I'll wash it and I'll get the grid lines out, and then I'll do the metallic after that, and the beads. Calls for metallic and beads. And then the other pattern that's with it, that one does not call for beads or metallic. Of course, I had to pick the fancy one, right? So that's the new start but not a new start for the week. And then the work on, I just dropped my stuff. The work on till it's finished piece is another gingerbread smalls from Twin Peak Primitives, but this one is the train, that one there, and it's being stitched on the same fabric as the carousel. I'm doing them all on the same fabric, but I'm just going to finish them separately. Here it is. It's all folded all janky, but that's my starting point with it. So maybe I'll kind of go over and work on the third car, and then I'll kind of have a better idea of what all I have left to do. I don't know. Anyway, that's my work until it's finished. My non-full coverage is Sugar Cookie House, and this is a kit from Mill Hill. It's the Spring Series. I think this is more of a Christmas piece, but when you look at it, it's actually got like the peeps, the Easter peeps on the front of it. I see Sugar Cookie House and I think sugar cookies for Christmas, but you know, it's whatever. And that's my starting point with it. And then my full coverage for the week is Springtime Splendor, and this is by Heaven and Earth Designs. Artwork is by Randall Spangler. Randall. Did I say Randall? Randall Spangler. Randall. It's this piece right here. And I'm going to show you my starting point, but me and my diagonals, I might count up to the corner, because I did a center start on this. So I have a lot of part threads over here. I don't know why I was working just on that right there on this edge. Not really sure what I was doing over here. But I started in the middle. Again, because I was like freaking out because I don't have a whole lot of margin at the top and the bottom, so I was like, oh, what if I start in the wrong spot? It's gridded fabric. Just count the blocks and make sure you have enough space. Duh. But I'm gonna count up to the corner. Wherever it is up here, it's up here somewhere. Because I feel like this is almost to the top. I'm gonna count up to the corner. Start my diagonals. I'm excited. And I really like this piece a lot. It's super cute. Okay. So those are my weekly pulls. And let me show you my Monopoly whips. So, all right. So the cat landed on Pennsylvania Railroad. My railroads, I have one of my seasonal sets assigned to it. And it is the seasonal set I have assigned to all the railroads is the Cooler Designs, the seasonal pieces from Cooler Design Studio by Sandy Orton. Pennsylvania Railroad is assigned Summertime. And since this is just the first go round, it will get 100 stitches. And that's my starting point. I'll go over fabric and all that when I show it next week. I'll probably stay in here and try to finish this little scene. It's not going to be finished, but I'm going to work on getting that little scene right there finished. And so that was the cat. The dog, his dumb butt went in jail. And apparently he likes sitting in jail because the first roll did not get him doubles, so he's stuck in jail. And again, the rolls, it can happen 3 times. So not next week, but the week after. If you roll 3 times and you don't get doubles, then I'm going to do 200 more stitches and then he gets out. So just a reminder that this is my starting point. My son's calling me. It's probably for something silly. Like, can I get a game when I come over? So that's my starting point for that. So that's going to get 200 more stitches. Okay. I'm going to show you the cars piece first. The thimble went next, but it went a few times. So I'm going to show you the car first, and then I'll show you the thimbles projects. The car landed on Virginia, and the Virginia property has been assigned Autumn Favorites by Shannon Christine Designs. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And that's my starting point with it. I don't know if I'm going to keep working on that truck or if I'm going to work on a word somewhere, because there's a lot of words in this. I don't know yet. We'll see. Okay. Now let me show you all of the frickin' spots that thimble landed on. Like, ah! Oh no, I dropped my bag, but it's way over there. So we're just going to put this right here for now. Okay, so the thimble rolled and got doubles and landed on Electric Company. So Electric Company and Waterworks, it's the same designer assigned to those areas. My designer for those pieces, or for those properties, is Sugar Stitches Design. Electric Company has Cupid's Cafe assigned to it. And again, first go round will be 100 stitches, so this piece will get 100 stitches. You can kind of see the white stitching a little bit, kind of going up the trellis, up the sides and stuff, but yeah. And so it had gotten doubles, so it rolled again, and when it rolled again, it had landed on Chance, and the Chance card said advance to Boardwalk, do 200 stitches. So it did. Went to Boardwalk. My Boardwalk property has my Mermaids of the Season Sal from Bella Filipina from last year. And so this piece will get 200 stitches. Will I work on one of these that's already started, or will I go down to autumn? I don't know yet, but this will get 200 stitches. And so since that was from doubles, it rolled one more time. And if that's not how you play at home, that's how I play. Everybody, that's their house rules for a reason. So rolled doubles, landed on chance, so it did what the chance card said, and since it wasn't a go to jail or anything, it rolled one more time. It passed go. So my property is signed to go. If you pass go, I do 200 stitches on this. If you land on go, it's 400 stitches. But my go property is one of my kids' stockings, and this one is the Enchanted Christmas Reindeer from Heaven and Earth Designs by Donna Gelsinger. And Gracie's doing something, I don't know. This is my starting point with it. So this will get 200 stitches. So it passed go, right? And because it passed go, that means that the properties have now been opened up for the thimble to purchase. Methinks that the thimble might end up with a lot of properties since all the other ones are still over on side number 2 of the board. But the thimble landed on Baltic Avenue, and it is going to buy Baltic Avenue. Gracie found a toy. I don't know what she's playing with. So it landed on Baltic Avenue. Baltic Avenue's project is Spa Gnome from CuteBroidery.com. That one right there. And for side number 1, so for the brown properties and the light blue properties, to purchase them is going to be 100 stitches. So this will get 100 stitches to purchase. And so when any of the other pieces land on Baltic, they will have to pay 50 stitches for rent. It goes up higher as you go around the board. That's why it's so, but that's how it is for regular Monopoly anyway. It's super low in the very beginning, and then it just gets higher and higher. And again, I'm not worrying about houses and hotels because I really don't think that's going to be an issue. If it looks like we're going to be able to buy houses and hotels, then I'll worry about it. But I'm not doing all that trading to get a Monopoly and all that stuff. So we're not really playing Monopoly. We're just doing this to figure out what whips to work on, right? Okay, so those are all the projects I'm going to work on this week, plus my 4 focus pieces. My Whip of Shame, Honeymoon Sunset, the HAED Sal, and the Yippy Kay. Okay, one final thing before we go is the Whip of Shame contenders for the month of October. And these are the 2 projects that I pulled last week that could potentially be the Whip of Shame for the month of October. First one up is an Old Dimensions kit that I got back in 1999. This is the year I graduated high school, if you guys want to do the math and figure out how old I am. This is Walking to Town by Fred Swan. Is this from Fred Swan? Yeah. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm just using the stuff that came in the kit. So it's a 14 count navy Aida. 18 count navy Aida. I'm a liar. My bad. And this is my starting point with it. So October has 31 days, so the goal for the Whip of Shame for the month of October will be 3,100 stitches. And then the other one that is up for voting is Frederick, and this is a Creative Accents kit, which is a division of Dimensions. I bought this one back in 2006, and this one is, I almost said this isn't 10 years old, but I forgot there's an entire decade of 2010s in between 2006 and 2026. But this one is still available very readily. I've seen it in the stores. This is Frederick. And again, I'm doing what came in the kit. 18 count. Did I get that one right? 18 count? Nope, this one's 14 count. Black Ada. And that's my starting point with him. So if you have not voted yet, I feel the same way about either piece, because some people are like, well, which one do you want to do more? I feel the same about either piece. I would be happy if either one of these won. What I will say is, and they're both on dark fabric. One's navy, one's black, same difference, honestly. I'd say progress-wise, they're approximately the same. Walking to Town is the older one of the two, because it's from the 1900s, and Frederick is not. They're both still older than my oldest son, who is 14. But what was I going to say about these? Oh, what I will say is I don't believe I've worked on Walking to Town at all yet this year. Frederick, I have, because he was actually the first project that I did when I started doing the Whip of Shame. He was my first Whip of Shame project. So I know I've seen some people comment that they said that since he's already gotten his little moment of glory, then Walking to Town should have it now. Some people said, well, Frederick's really cute, he needs some more love. Some people say Walking to Town needs votes because it's from the 1900s, stuff like that. So if you haven't voted yet, go ahead and leave a comment down below letting me know which one you want to see me work on. I'm going to tally up all the votes now that my stressful, like chaotic, not stressful, but my like chaotic stitching week is kind of like, I mean, I still have a lot of stitching to do, but it's not as hectic, I feel, as it was this past week. We'll see what all I can get done. I'm not going to stress it. If I can't get everything done, I can't get everything done. We'll just kind of move it forward to the following week when I don't have the kids again, and I'll probably be able to catch up more on it, because I probably would have been able to get everything done, but Sunday I spent a portion of the day over at my mom's, hanging out with my parents and my brother for his birthday, and Saturday morning I spent filming the Monopoly video. So there was like a few hours that I could have been stitching that I wasn't, but I mean, it's okay that I wasn't. I don't need to be stitching 24/7, but I feel like I probably would have gotten everything done had I not had those kind of like commitments, if that makes sense. So we'll see what I can do this coming week. I will be filming again next Friday. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. If you have questions about my projects, leave them in the comment section, because that was a lot of stuff I put in the description box last week, and I ain't doing it again this week. It's gonna be blank. But yeah, so if you liked what you had to see and you're not already subscribed, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. I try to post a new Flosstube every week, and then occasionally I will throw some extra videos in. So take care, happy stitching, get a lot of stitches in, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.